Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. Playing some modern today. This is Jeskai. You may know Jeskai. It's from the past. It was my favourite deck for years, and I just want to play it, so I'm going to try and force it through and see if it's any good. Today's list is slightly tweaked, especially the sideboard, to beat what I suspect we're going to face a lot of, because I've seen an awful lot of two decks recently online. I've seen lots of red prowess, which is why we're playing so much main deck removal, and I've seen lots of the Valakut, Field of the Dead, Primeval Titan, Dryad bullshit, which is why we've got two Crumble to Dusts and two Runed Halos in the sideboard. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's nothing revolutionary. You've seen Jeskai before, unless you're a new modern player, in which case, welcome to 3 years ago or more. Honestly, it's more like 6 years ago. If I base base it on when everyone else gave up rather than when I gave up. So yeah, we're going to play a normal league, and we're going to absolutely dominate the opposition because this is still the best deck probably. You know you're doing modern right when your deck has 8 4-drops and no acceleration, as well as a 5-drop and like a 7-drop. I appreciate Rev is not always a 7-drop, but you want to cast it for like X's 3 at least, otherwise it doesn't feel like a proper Rev. You probably don't want to cast it at all in 2020, but I do. So I am. My great hope is that we can just beat up on prowess all day. That's all I want. This is a sketcher, but with 2 opts, I think I'm going to keep it. It's got everything else we need, apart from like 3 more lands. It's fine, I'm not greedy. That was a good keep, probably. Don't keep this hand. If you live on planet Earth, don't keep this hand. Alright, go for it. If they're smart, they should take an opt. So this looks like either Esper or Mardu Shadow, would be my guess. Probably Mardu is more likely. Esper came and went very fast. Mardu has lingered a little bit. They took my force. It's an interesting one. Maybe it's not Mardu Shadow, because they don't have very many really necessary non-creature spells. Like all their win conditions are creatures. Bastard tried to trick me. Sure, they can Thoughtseize me. I guess they take 1 opt. Or maybe the Verdict. Verdict's probably the most unique card. They took 1 opt. I'm going to dig for lands. Beggars can't be choosers. Obviously, I immediately regret taking the Steam Vents instead of a Hallowed Fountain. My thinking was that it's a long way off for 4 lands, and at least Bolt I can cast. If they're going to field my Steam Vents, that's fine. If they get Lily, I think is fine. So this is just like a white-black mid-range deck. I'm going to discard this Supreme Verdict. Lingering Souls, they've got me with their sweet value. Joking aside, this matchup is probably horrible. Do I want to kill the Liliana now? Probably. because they've got Lingering Souls is a difficult card for me to answer. Liliana certainly can be. Yeah, we'll have to see. Doesn't really come as a surprise. So yeah, they're like a white-black mid-range deck, I assume. That's not a very helpful deck. I just wanted to land. But maybe it's not the draw step I needed, but it is the draw step I deserved. I think we can probably agree on that. I would like to draw Electrolyze into Hallowed Fountain. That would be the dream. Or just a land. Perfect. Cryptic's pretty good against Lingering Souls because you can use the bounce mode to kind of kill them for free. 3 Cryptics is comical. I have to use the Masters one first so that I have matching Lorwyn ones in hand, otherwise it's upsetting. That's how my brain works. So they cast a spell. They politely decline. I have to do something with my mana, so I'm just going to bounce draw. More lands are great. Bolt is fine too. Sure thing. So it's tough to say, but I think we're pretty stable at this point. We'll have to see what they do. Sure, I'll just bolt this. Keep up Cryptic forever. Should be relatively hard for them to win through my handful of Cryptics. Sooner or later you can start using Cryptic to bounce Mystic Sanctuaries and stuff, which is fairly nasty. Alright, I'll counter that. That's a good card. So they are a Stoneforge Mystic deck. We just haven't seen any Stoneforges. Snappy is beautiful. Lets us turn the corner. Colonnade also contributes to turning the corner. These draw steps have not been unkind. I will say that. They must just have a handful of removal spells, I guess. So I'm going to give Bolt flashback and then let the Inquisition resolve. Probably bolt them end step unless they play a creature I can kill. So I have to let them take my Cryptic and then bolt the Sculler to get it back. Because if you, the way Sculler's templated, if you kill it with the trigger on the stack, then the card gets exiled permanently because it does the return first, which it fails to do, and then does the exiling under it part. It's it's been corrected on the more recent ones like Kitesail Freebooter and stuff, but in the case of Sculler, that's how it works, and it's pretty pretty distressing to be a part of, if we're honest. So I'm not sure if that was greedy or not. I mean, it probably was, but felt like we were very far ahead. That can resolve. I guess they get the Batter Skull, and then we can, like, I'll probably snap bolt this and then force the Batter Skull next turn when they get their 5th land. Sure, you got me. It's a bit annoying because I really wanted to just kill them, but c'est la vie. Their last card is Batter Skull. I don't even mind drawing a land because then I can attack with Colonnade and have Force. That's actually fine. So we've got them to a virtual 5 already, because if they draw land, maybe they're not drawing a land. Hopefully they draw something. Yeah, I'm going to let that resolve. Doesn't do anything on its own, and I want to force the Batter Skull. Gonna keep the Flooded Strand in my hand for, you know, pretending to have stuff reasons, and also Jason Mind Sculptor brainstorming is a thing, and we've got a shuffle effect in play already. Opponent knows when they're beaten. Cool. This matchup feels kind of fine, quite grindy and fun. So Ashiok is specifically good against Lingering Souls if they leave it in the graveyard, and otherwise bad, so I don't think I want it. I think I just want to sideboard something like this. There's not much good in having Runed Halo either, because the cards you want to protect yourself from are tokens like Germ Token and Spirit Token, and you can't name cards that don't exist. I actually think, although it looked fine there, I don't want Force of Negation. I probably do want Supreme Verdict. I probably want a bit less spot removal. Actually, I'll keep the bolts in. There's nothing they don't kill. And it closes games and Puff doesn't. So I'm going to sideboard like that. Opponent's deck is interesting though. It's got like a lot of the same shell as the shadow deck, but without actual shadows. But I mean, it's just full of good removal and hand disruption and Stoneforge Mystics. It can't be bad. As you can see, my mulligan standards are not high enough. But that's fine. Here we go. Inquisition your Opt, and then good luck, Chris. Hopefully they just take the Snap, because Snap's the best card. And as much as I would be sad to see it go, at least then I would have the Opt. They took the Opt, which is probably the right choice. We got away with it because we're brilliant at Magic the Gathering. I imagine this will probably be a threat, like a Stoneforge or similar. Let's see what they get. It's got to be Batter Skull, hasn't it? A grindy matchup. Have to kill it now before they untap, for obvious reasons. Be interesting to see what the rest of their hand shapes up like, because ours is either good or terrible. Snapcaster's fine because we've got both Opt and Bolt, so we're pretty covered on a lot of bases, but the value of Baneslayer depends on whether or not they've kept paths in, which I assume would be their like first cut against me. It would be my first cut if I were in their shoes. I'm going to pass. For what it's worth, I'm not sure it's correct to pass, but that's what I'm doing. Oh shit, it's definitely not. They can put a Batterskull into play. I am an idiot. In my head, they were locked into doing the Sword of Fire and Ice because that's what this one had got. I don't know what, some weird, like, psychological quirk got myself there. Now I'm going to have to do all sorts of nonsense involving bouncing germ tokens and stuff. Should still be fine. Our hand has come together really well. If they want to attack with a Stoneforge, I am happy. Oops. So I'm going to bolt it, they're going to make a Batterskull, and I'm going to regret my sequencing. Yep. Yep. Can I just draw a Wear Tear, please, deck? I cannot. Can't believe that. I've really stitched myself up there. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Just have to take it for now. Is this the sword? Seems to not be the sword. Well, I need to try to answer that. Cock. Yep. This is bad. This has taken a turn, to say the least. Yeah. Right. I have to pass. I have to take a huge hit and then try to Cryptic to like tap team or something like that. I've got the tools to manage the game. I just don't know if I've got the time. We'll have to see. I really hope they don't just leave Shambling Vent up. That would be a nightmare. Okay. So this could be pretty bad for me if they edict, which they do, because that makes sense. Okay, path's great. My hope is that they try to attack with the Gideon and I can path it. If they just make a knight, then it's going to get awkward. They've got the information now, which sucks. One really cool trick, which we can't currently do, but is a thing you can do with Mystic Sanctuary, is you can fetch a Mystic Sanctuary and put that on top in response, if you have the prerequisite number of islands, of course. So there's loads of things about this that don't work right now, but it can fizzle surgicals, which is quite cool. So irritatingly, they know about the path, so they can play around it. Pretty much just by doing that, which isn't really that strenuous of a line to have to take. That's good. Yeah, we're losing this game hard. Don't really know. I can't think of a particular sequence of draws that saves me, which is never where you want to be. Land is obviously the best thing we can hit. There's no point in running out the Baneslayer because it will just get edicted, so if they plus the Lily it will be my discard. Then I just have to hope to draw a land for that's really good. We're getting pounded here. Do not currently have a good answer to any of it. Well, that was probably our best draw, and now my interest has been piqued again. So yeah. I think I'm supposed to target Bolt, but I'm very unsure. Okay, and then they edict and then I lose. Cool. Next game. Do I want Baneslayer Angel? It looked bad that game, didn't it? think it's probably still worth having. Do I want an additional Gideon? Sorry, additional path to answer Gideon? Probably. Let's go with that. Yeah, them resolving that Gideon won the game on its own, didn't it? Which is what Gideon does, so can't be too salty. Given that we have 2 other potential islands, I think I'm going to be... Oh, is it greedy? Is it better just to play it tapped? No, because it doesn't let me cast Helix, so I'm going to be simultaneously smart and greedy. And I'm going to play... I guess doesn't matter, does it, either way? Just going to lead on this. Spell Snare is very good against their hands where they don't go discard on turn 1. But I imagine, yeah, they're going to go for discard on turn 1, so it's probably irrelevant. But like getting to snare a Stoneforge or a, what's it called? Tidehollow Sculler is really nice. They may have cut the Scullers. Scullers aren't very good against infinite removal. But they're extremely good against medium amounts of removal. Like if your opponent's playing sort of 6 or 8 removal spells and you get one under the Sculler and they don't draw any more, then it's a 2-for-1 that discarded your opponent's best card. And made a 2-2. And that's really good. So, yeah, I think Sculler is an underutilized card in Modern. They took the Snap just because it's the best card. Perfect. This hand is pretty solid. My assumption is they just have to let something get spell snared at some point, but I could be wrong. One moment. Hello? Just checking the volume. Is that okay? Cool. So sorry about that. That was my work phone, so I have to answer it. As you can see, our best card got surgicaled, which is a little bit sad, but like that's funny. Fine. Does make me laugh when I don't know. I just think surgical's terrible, but what do I know? This does rather make the Mystic Sanctuary in hand look really bad, I have to say. So props to them, I suppose. I didn't play around them having a second surgical and using it on some fetches. Very cunning. They missed a... No, they didn't. It's in my graveyard. Yeah, they missed the one in my graveyard for some reason. Maybe they just didn't care. The joke's on them. I've got dig through time, maybe. I don't know what they've got a super reactive hand, it looks like. I'm quite glad that the Rev is a secret. It's a good secret. Are we playing draw go? It looks that way. I hope they don't have a clean answer to Jace. I'm still casting him because I want to draw lands. Guess Murderous Rider would be the best thing they could have. This looks like they have it. Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. Hide that. Don't want it to get taken from me. We've got Snare up, but not Path, sadly. And this tells me they're going to go Sword, Equip, Kill Jace. That's the only thing I can think of. Oh no, they're fine. Okay. I think I can live with this, though. We've got Field of Ruin to answer the Shambling Vent. Although, not currently. But our hand is just great. Can gladly take one. That's not a problem. And then if they do something, then we'll respond. And if they don't, then I'm just going to, like, just draw a card, basically. I'm not going to use the Field of Ruin if I don't have to, because I might end of turn Rev for 3. We do need to draw a win condition, but our deck contains both a big Elspeth, a Baneslayer Angel, another Jace, a Teferi. So even without snaps, we should be able to close the game out. Not the best draws, but it's fine. I'm going to opt now in case we can hit a win con. We did not. All good. It's a bit embarrassing that I just realised I used our only counterspell to bounce a token, which probably isn't optimal, but we've got... They are a deck that needs to win with creatures, and our hand is absurd against creatures. Yeah, we'll just let them cast both parts and then kill it with a with a Supreme Verdict, I guess. What do I need? Another red. This was actually a mistake, for sure. I should have let them take anything and then verdict them. Okay, that's fine. It was a mistake to snare the first one. I imagine here comes the Lingering Souls, as in this half, and whatever's in their hand. We're actually semi-insulated against Planeswalkers as well, because we've got the Colonnade, which is not... This is not similar to what we had in Game 2, where they got them down before we could do much about it. I'm not sure if this is correct, but we shall see. It's a good one. Yeah, it was possibly wrong to tap that mountain, but didn't really think it through. It's a Kaya's Guile. I think that card really sucks. They got my graveyard that I can't use because they killed my Snap, and they made a 1/1, and it cost them 3 mana. Just to protect Jace, in case they've got a sword or something. Actually, that was the last card from their hand, so I didn't need to do that. What a waste. Pretty good. Hide Elspeth on top. She can win me the game next turn. Yeah, we should be good from here. They'll play whatever they draw, if they draw something. And then they'll scoop when we cast Elspeth. Because she cannot be beaten in these fair games. Bottom the Gideon. Can't see how they get out of this. Suppose they could have consecutive Gideons on top of their library. Cool. Keep going. Jeskai is still the best. That's an awkward lighting situation. Solid hand. Answers for most stuff. We've got our best threat. The only thing we're currently lacking is a way to deal with big creatures, but I'm sure that will come. Breeding Pool is probably the Titan deck. Could be Infect, could be like a... Yeah, this is the Titan deck. Makes sense. I'm going to bolt them so I can get a clock established, because they might well win a long game. This is going to be a hard game one, really hard, which is why I'm trying to play as aggressively as possible. Sure. They must have a second Azusa based on that discard. Can't think of anything else. Yep. So, yeah, they have to sequence their lands carefully to stop me responding. I can't really afford to waste my Jace, but... Their hand contains a forest and a breeding pool. Land would be a really fantastic draw. I have to kill that now. Don't want them to untap with it, get to use it again. So the old version we were really favoured because we have more paths than they have Titans, because we each have 4, but we also have Snapcaster Mage. The new version, I suspect we're not favoured because of exactly Field of the Dead, but I could be wrong. So they've got Breeding Pool, Forest, and 2 unknowns in hand. Okay. Okay, I can live with that. I have to think, because if I Jace bounce this, get in for 2, they can pact and resolve a Titan, but it can't. They can't play a Titan with this in play and get the Valakuts and stuff, I don't think. So I think this is the window I need to get the Jace down, and then it's going to be a struggle, but I need something like Field of Ruin and plenty of removal to then fight their actual strategy. Like this turn, they're very clearly just going to Pact and play Titan, and that's going to be really strong, but it's not as bad as if they had the Valakuts turned on. We've got a clean answer to that in Path. It just remains to be seen which way they decide to go with their tutoring here, whether they get Valakut or Field. They're pretty far off triggering a Field, and they've got the Dryad for triggering Valakut, but we'll see what they decide to do. We've got reasonable answers to... I wish we didn't have these basic islands. They're kind of stinking up the place. Field of the Dead, yeah. What does this do? Add 1 mana of any colour. Oh shit. They can play the Dryad. They can start going off. I did not see that coming. If I'm honest, I didn't really know Crumbling Vestige existed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6. That's just 6. So that's not going to make a 2/2 yet. So if I Path here and unsummon the Dryad, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm going to attack first, offer the trade. They correctly decline. So they have to pay for Pact, which they can do. I'm expecting this to be a miserable game 1, by the way. That's why I've got so many sideboard cards dedicated to it. So I'm not worried about, like, if we lose this game, it's fine. Looking for lands, preferably not plain blue. Shit. That's not okay. So stating the obvious, the plan is like cryptic tap draw before combat, I think. Just about the worst thing we can see would be like, okay, that's about the best thing we can see. We are quite close to burning them out. It's not out of the question. Okay. I've got a plan. I'm not sure how good it is, but it's a plan. Just cryptic lock them until they come within range, basically, is my plan. Let's see what they've drawn. It's a spell of some kind. That ain't good. Yeah, we did. So for those who are wondering why I conceded so soon, they're going to go and get a Valakut and something and kill my Jace, and then, yeah, it gets hard. It gets super hard. And also, I think I made a mistake fetching the Sanctuary because it made my other burn uncastable. So there's a thing to note for the next game. Rune Halo, really good. Crumbles, really good. Ashiok's, really good. I think I probably need Force of Negation for the old turn 1 amulet. I might need that. No, I'm not going to need that. That is going to be my deck. It's quite a weird looking post side, isn't it? But okay, can live with this. That's a sort of pretty powerful effect to have on a land against my cards. So they had it, which is... These are the games where you die real fast sometimes, so you need to keep that in mind, but not much more I can do than this. So you name Valakut, and then they can't target you with the triggers. And then we've got Field of Ruin and Path to feel kind of safe. Monk. Oh, Azusa is a monk. My brain was like, Monastery Mentor. This can't be happening. That is, there is more than one monk in Magic the Gathering. Like the whole of Jeskai on Tarkir, for example. Here she comes, everybody's favourite monk. Primarily known for being a monk. I hadn't considered that at all. Not a second amulet. No, just floating a mana. No, not floating a mana. Going off, playing a Dryad, I assume. Well, if they ever land a Titan, they'll be able to attack for 1,000,000 damages. We're sufficiently far away that we don't have to worry about getting Field of the Deaded anytime soon. We might well get Titaned, but my intention is to like Path of Titan, Snap Helix the Tribe Scout, and then feel slightly safe. If I draw a second Rune Halo, obviously I can name Primeval Titan as well, and then I'm in like fairly good shape. I'm not sure this is correct. Should be probably saving that for a Titan, but okay. Didn't expect that. I wonder what they sided that in for, because I doubt Runed Halo was on their radar, but it could have been. That's comical. I'm hoping the Snapcaster Mage is going to be perfect. I'm hoping the Snapcaster Mage is going to be enough to just close the game, which is maybe optimistic, but I'll be like flashing it in Snap Helix, probably just the Tribe Scout, and then start attacking with the Snap and the Colonnade. That's my plan. Balls. I should have waited. That was impatient of me. I got punished, which I deserved. Well, let's just keep knocking them off mana. They're very far away from a Titan now, which is good. Actually, they're really not, are they? Because of these Vigors, they're like any tap land, they can get a Titan. Like a 2 mana land, they've got 10 mana, so they're not very far from getting a Titan. If anything, that's a bad draw because it's not tapped. Like, how silly is this? Okay. Spell. Not a spell. Opponent's got 1 card in hand. I think we can reasonably assume it's probably a It's probably a Titan or a way to get one, because they'd have cast nearly anything else and they would have played a land. Or not. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm confused and happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to pass then. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to wait. I was going to say they can play a Titan that I can't counter, but I can path it by like bouncing my snap, drawing a card. That can resolve. Jace is nice. Crumble's nice. I think I want to crumble something more important than Cavern, although I'm not sure that's correct, but that's the decision I've made. So I've left myself with basically either Mystic Sanctuary or Cryptic or Path. That's fine. Field of the Dead. That's the one. That's the one I'm trying to kill. Yep, you get all your untaps. Yep. Cock. I liked it better when Jace was alive. Yep. Jace is dead. And they can... Okay, I'm going to snap Path on the Dryad. And I'm definitely not going to fetch because I need to draw that Crumble to Dust. Nearly forgot that then. I'm absolutely certain I should have attacked with... No, I didn't have the mana, okay. Makes me feel less stupid. I'll see what they do before I decide what I'm going to get with Mystic Sanctuary. That's not very threatening. Going to get Cryptic, I guess. Might be worth me it might be worth me trying to crumble the Valakuts so they can't kill my other stuff. But I think it's impossible for them to kill my colonnade with Valakut, which is kind of all I care about. Hopefully we'll draw a burn spell to close the game a turn sooner. We've got an opt to dig for one. It'd be nice not to have to fade too many draw steps from them, but I don't think they've got too many things left in their deck that we should be afraid of. This might elicit a scoop if they don't have an answer to my colonnade. It has. Okay, and we're going to hopefully enact a similar plan in game 3. Opponent didn't get to see Ashiok there, which is maybe advantageous. Maybe they won't be expecting it. I cannot keep a hand as loose as that on the draw. That hand I kept would be... I'd be dead. Okay. I think I have to keep this. I've got a good answer to Azusa. I've got good mana, Field of Ruin, Mana Leak. It's about as good as it's getting. Path for a Titan. Okay. Big Tefs, welcome to the gang. I haven't cast that card in so long and it's so fucking good. Have they really not got a land? Or is this a Tribe Scout? Yeah. Alright, that makes some sense. I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to hope to get to Mana Leak something like an Azusa. Yep, that's the one we knew about. Okay. Pretty good. Oh, transmute. That's the only thing that makes sense. Can you transmute at instant speed? I can't remember. Genuinely can't remember. Come on, Takino. Let me try and win. Emphasis on the try more so than the win. Might as well give myself access to path should it come up. Seems unlikely. Ah, maybe they have a Force of Vigor in hand. I don't mind that. Got a clock. Fucking aggressive from opponent, I suppose. Yeah, it did delay my crumble for a turn. I wonder if that'll matter. Also gave my almost threatless deck a 3/3, which is not something I'm really ever going to complain about. Let's see what they've got planned. Hopefully not stuff that plays around Mana Leak, Path to Exile, Crumble to Dust, Teferi and Jace. That's a very small list. Nice. I think we've won the game. Unless they've got... No, they don't have Veil of Summer mana. They've done that so they can pay for Pact, but we can Crumble to Dust the Rot Farm and win. Which is quite a funny way to kill somebody. Even if I do say so myself. I'm going to attack for 3. See if they've got, like... I want them to tap their last land. In case they've got, like, a... Oh, no. No. Veil of Summer cannot prevent this, so... Sorry, I'm not endorsing firearms, don't shoot people. But finger guns is a fun celebration, I think. Still don't shoot people though. This might be a long league. If we're playing like loads of best of 3s with this slow ass deck. It'll be fine. Cool. It's nice playing Jeskai again. It feels like home. For what it's worth, if you're playing the Titan deck, I really don't think you should be exposing yourself like that with the Summoners Pact against this Cryptic Command deck, because the Crumble to Dust isn't likely, but your opponent going up, you know, end of my turn, bounce your 2 mana land to your hand. That's a thing that can happen. I assume they just take Snap here or Jace, one or the other. This got to be Jund or Death Shadow. Actually, could be 4-color Death Shadow. Yeah, 4-color Shadow. They're probably pretty well equipped to beat us, I would imagine, with Stubborn Denial, Veil of Summer, 1 mana 6/6s, etc. Yeah, you got it. That's fine. And by fine, I mean horrifying. That was probably the wrong cut. Sure. I was going to say that was probably the wrong land to tap in case I saw a path. It might have been better to shock myself with the steam vents to give myself the option of pathing the Goyf, but holy shit, I grew it. That ain't smart. Let's see. Don't be another Goyf. Oh, it's just a Death Shadow, no big deal. That's fine. Just an 8/8. Holy shit, this draw from the opponent has been solid. Path? That ain't path. Well, I'm not dead. My only hope is to try to kill them, so hopefully they put me to 2. I'm not going to use my Tarn because then the Nurturing Peatland is lethal. I'm happy to use it post-combat, but not during combat. I think in retrospect it was correct to play the mountain. I think I'll fuck this up. Sure. Hang on. I'll give them a chance to tap the peatland. If for some reason they do, which they don't. Okay, yeah. Well, c'est la vie. Can't win them all. We've got some upgrades we can make. $61, eh? Let's go with something like that. Ashiok should be pretty key because their mana base is full of fetches and they use their graveyard a lot for Tarmogoyfs and for traverses and stuff. Don't love this hand. But it's not terrible. Let's see if we get Thought Seized or not. I assume we do. Ooh! That's surprising. I think I'm not interested in pathing it. I can take a couple small hits. I wonder how good that is in this deck. Okay. You're probably thinking, why not Path the Shadow? And the answer is just that I'm going to snap Path the Shadow on my turn. Possibly on their upkeep. Probably on my turn. No, though. Veil of Summer can't protect against Path. I'm going to do it on their upkeep. Plus no surgical. Okay, so they draw, but it doesn't protect their shadow, I don't believe. Nice, single basic. Come on, I just want to draw infinite Field of Ruins now. Knock yourself out, opponent. My hand is gas. Runed Halo is a doozy. Lets you basically answer all copies of a creature, so you can just name Tarmogoyf or Death Shadow, whatever they play next. Problem is that I don't currently have any second white source, but it's fine. Don't think I'm going to have to Cryptic plus Spell Snare this turn, but it's not impossible. But if their deck is capable of dealing so much damage, I'm worried about my life total. I wonder what the hell is in their hand. Maybe they were just waiting for a window where I would need to do both. Like, if they resolve a Tarmogoyf now, I'll be impressed. Obviously, yeah, that card should exist, probably. God, it winds me up. What a load of shit. Come on, white mana. That might let me kill them. I'm going to pass the turn. No good can come of attacking. I've got Spell Snare and Mana Leak to try and fight, and then I can try and kill them with Snapcaster and Helix. That's my intention. Hopefully they won't draw anything relevant from that, because the game will have ended. Either way, this starts with me agreeing to take 8. If they go for a Battle Rage, I'll snare it. Hopefully they'll have think they're safe with a Veil of Summer, and I can leak this Veil. And if they have another one, then I just lose. And that's fine too. Who doesn't love a playset of Veil of Summer, you know? Literally 4 copies. Can we take a moment to appreciate what a nice moment that was? That card is a horrible play experience. And usually when people are casting it, they're like apologising, so it's not even particularly nice to play with unless you hate your opponent. Very few mulligans, although that probably says more about my mulligan standards than it does about the quality of our draws. Excuse me. Oh, somebody wants to have access to removal. Fantastic draw, just what we needed. I love how, oh, by the way, I don't own, oh, it's Dredge, fuck. I don't own all these cards, I rent them, and I love how the rental service has automatically given me the most baller lands available. I mean, personally, I'm not actually a big fan of the expeditions, but they are undeniably baller. God, Dredge is a savage game one. We've got a good sideboard though. I think we've got 2 Ashioks and 2 Rips if I remember rightly. Yeah, 2 Rips, 2 Ashioks. Even Runed Halo's fine because you can name whichever threat they've got the most of. Really tax their nature's claims unless they're on the force of green one, whatever the force of green one is called. That blows up to 2 things, and then you're like opening yourself up a bit. It's just casting a thug, yeah. So I can kill it and make them put the prized amalgam as their next draw step, but that doesn't seem very useful. Don't really know what my plan is for this game. Like, it really is a horrible game one. I guess I have to try to, like, kill them with burn as fast as possible and Snapcaster beats, but none of that seems very realistic. I assume this is casting. It is not casting the Merchant. I need to give this some more thought. I'm taking 1 anyway. They've even got life gain from the creeping chills though. That's the thing that's going to get me. Because next turn I'm playing Jace, right? So go face. Start clocking them. Not that it's a very good clock, because it's not a clock, it's just a burn spell. Gonna bounce the Bloodghast. I think they're the only things they have access to with haste. Usually. I don't think this is a Vengevine-y looking build. And that should allow me to untap with Jace. There's another Haggle. It's a Forgotten Cave, okay. Funny draw from the opponent. By no means their best, but I suppose Dredge is inherently a bit more inconsistent now because they've lost so many of their good enablers. Which is a real pity. I'm really sad that Dredge has taken such a hit, because it was a valuable part of the meta game. Is this a loam? Have they finally drawn a loam? No. But it's a start. Narcomoeba shouldn't matter. Prized amalgam sort of matters. But we're quite well equipped to start handling stuff now. Shriekhorn's fine. Jace is going to take 1, I assume. Which does mean I can't minus it, which is a bit annoying. But that's fine, it is what it is. They get their amalgam, also fine. And we got to untap with Jace, which is basically everything we wanted. Verdict, that's where it is. That's what we want. I'm definitely at point all my burn at the opponent mode at this point, because they're not doing a ton. That can maybe make sense, because then they can activate Shriekhorn and make 1 power to threaten to kill Jace. And then I've got a genuine decision about how hard I'm trying to kill my opponent. Weird timing. If they'd done that in my second main phase, they would have got the Amalgam back as well. Which makes me wonder if I was correct to even... in retrospect, I don't think it was correct to even verdict, but, you know, make mistakes. Yeah, I think I just have to play like a burn deck. So I've got 8 points in hand and a Snappy to try and deal a couple. It's a Conflagrate. One damage, 3 damage. Go for it. Yep. And then the other one will see it at the next end step, so my end step. So I need to be cognizant of that. Cryptic, eh? Man, this is tight. They've got a loam. I suppose it's not tight if they hit a creeping chill, then it becomes very, very lopsided. I've heard this is making a huge difference, but this is the first time I've played against it, so I don't really know. They dredged a loam and didn't really hit very well. Oh no, this has escape. Hell's Horses, that's really good. Okay. They don't have haste and they can't block, so that's okay. I say it's okay, like I'm winning. I don't really have a plan. I just have to... Like, my intention at the moment is to do something like Snap Helix on the Ox. Attack for 2, putting them to 8. and then use Cryptic to try and like buy me enough time, which still doesn't explain where the last few points are coming from. I assume this is escaping one large ox. They've got to use the escape cautiously. They don't want to stitch themselves up by accidentally exiling something that matters. We're going to take 8, which is fine. And that's game. Perfect. Just like we drew it up. So we have to sideboard and hope. Rip. Ashiok. Probably force. I think it's certainly worth considering forcing the Shriekhorn. And then what sucks? Quite a lot sucks. Yeah, I'm just trimming on one snap because... Actually, I think I want the Helix more than a bolt. I'm trimming on one snap because we're bringing in 2 Rest in Peace, and it's like... obviously way less good when it's just a 2-1. I think I have to do better than that with the quality of our sideboard cards. This is much more like it. Looks like Kevin may have mulliganed as well. Let's hope Kevin doesn't have a Thoughtseize. Wouldn't that be awkward? Because the rest of our hand is uncastable. Normally I give some consideration to when to cast the Rest in Peace, but given that we've got no other options, I'm just going to run it out. Okay. The old Nature's Claim. Perfect. I am 0% surprised. This is why you don't always just run it out, because sometimes that can happen and then you're left toothless. But like, the benefit of waiting is that they might put 8 cards in the graveyard that you get to exile with the trigger, whereas here I didn't exile much. I exiled 2 cards, none of which matter. That's the problematic part. Is this a Shriekhorn? No, it's a Haggle. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Good, wholesome, friendly magic. I assume they don't play basic forests. We're getting a plains for numerous reasons. It lets us cast Path. It lets us cast Halo and Verdict. And the main reason for doing that is I'm trying to cut them on the ability to cast Life from the Loam. We'll find out if it worked. They can make a large cow. Okay. Double Shriekhorn. think I'm just going to name Bloodghast. There's also an argument for Prized Amalgam or Conflagrate because they've hit some of all of them, but my tiebreaker is that there are 2 Bloodghasts. That's the sort of high-level thinking you get on this channel. I'm not sure that's correct, obviously, but I think the best and smartest play we could make would be to draw more graveyard hate. That would be incredibly clever. Oh, obviously naming Conflagrate would have been quite good as well, but that's fine. We're going to dredge a Thug, maybe? Two amalgams, making my, this must be the Ox, making my play look particularly crappy. Obviously next turn we're probably just going to be forced into Verdict. Hopefully we'll draw something like a blue source, play it like a tapped blue source or something, play the Verdict, and then draw the Ashiok and win. That's my whole plan. So the next 2 cards on top of my deck should please be Celestial Colonnade or Hallowed Fountain or something, plus... What else did I say I wanted? I want an Ashiok, yeah. That's what I want. Fucking perfect. How many Creeping Chills was that? 3, 4. They've hit them all. Fuck's sake. God, this deck is exhausting to play against. It's just like... It's just so hideously unfun. Still, that's all the Creeping Chills done. You're shitting me. Doesn't even stay dead. That's fine. It's all fine. It's a lot less upsetting when you stop caring because you're just too unhappy. that's where we are. It's fine. Everything's fine. Do you know what's cool though? We have perfect mana. We can cast all these spells next turn. Some of which do something. Well, this does one thing. Okay. But you can have all your Bloodghasts. That's fine. It's not the Bloodghast that's going to kill me. They're going to have 3 amalgams though, which is not trivial. It's a lot of triggers. Not a very good draw, but that's, you know, that's that. They've got Conflagrate that can probably kill me, I assume. They can loam... Oh, they don't have green though. Maybe they have green in their hand just to maximally upset me. I'm doing my best to slow down the inevitable demise. I should have been keeping better track of their hand. I know there's a loam in there. I think there's possibly a thug from a previous dredge. I could be wrong about that. I will counter almost anything that costs 2 at this point. This looks like a conflagrate for most of my life total. Got me. Hey, they did have a thug. Good for me. Can I get a rip-in piece, please? Damn you. Damn it, Ashiok. I'm not technically dead, which is particularly irritating. Just let me die. I just want to die. The one thing about Dredge, I suppose, is I've been so resentful of playing against Dredge for so long. We've become like old foes, and I kind of find it familiar. Whereas stuff like Lotus Field in Pioneer, that's a new, more raw hatred that like grates at me. Whereas this is just like an acceptance and a kind of, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of, it just pisses me off, but in like a way where I can kind of get over it. So I simultaneously need to draw Basic Island and Path to Exile. I think drawing both seems unlikely. Conflagrate me for 1. Seems to be the... Oh no, they're making an Ox. Yeah. Got me. Got me. Alright. One last round. See if we can get a respectable 3 and 2. I would like to. It would be... Pardon me. Sorry for yawning. It would be... sort of satisfactory. Fet Shadow would be quite a good name for the old Death Shadow Zoo deck. The Wild Nacatls and Step Lynxes and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Let's get on with crushing our foes. What do we want to play against? The thing about Jeskai is it doesn't really have any brilliant matchups. Humans is quite easy. Ordinarily, blue-white control, which this might be, is absolutely fine. but the handful of removal sucks. Like basically, you have a lot of the same tools, but your burn actually matters. With the way those games tend to go. Ooh! I'm excited. This might be a mirror. Two people smart enough to live very far in the past. Could be cool. Let's see what they do. Ooh. Might just be something like Storm or... well, no, Phoenix is basically dead, isn't it? I know people were trying it with Thrill of Possibility and stuff. This looks like an honest mid-to-goodness mirror. This is great. I'm so happy. And by happy I mean my hand sucks in the mirror, but that's fine. That looks like a spell snare to me. Probably shouldn't be fetching. I don't really want to thin lands out. The chances are, if they're playing Jeskai and they're not an idiot, they're playing Stoneforges. So that could be slightly more useful. You know, we could make better use of our removal. I'm really becoming very inarticulate. I'm sorry about this. Let's see if they cast something. They do not. Unwilling to make a move. Fair enough. Me too. Balls. I would have loved that to be a land. I wouldn't just be slamming Jace, but it would just be a bit more... it would just be nice to keep hitting your land drops. They really matter in these matchups. Almost don't want to miss one until about turn 9 or 10. I'll be probably firing off a bolt at the end of the turn, just so I've got something to snap. Ooh, his opponent missing lands as well. Yep, you got it, boss. They just didn't want to discard, which seems correct. I will be doing much the same. Oh, it's not land either. But we are now super close to winning by burn, which is funny. If we get to resolve everything. They've had a bit of more of a painful start to the game in terms of mana than us. Got me. What's going on? This has just become the shittest burn mirror you have ever seen. I think that was bad patience from the opponent. They should have waited, because they could have bolted this. Yep, we are playing an awful burn mirror. Perfect, that's great. If this connects for 2, next time they tap something, I'll go bolt, snap, bolt and try and kill them. That's probably even better than Jace. One thing that took a while for me to realise is that winning the game is the strongest play you can make, as much as it feels assertive to slam a Jace down. It's not as good as literally winning. Bolt, yeah. This is the shittest game of Magic I've ever seen. Just two really underperforming control decks wafting at each other. This forces them to do something. Maybe it's an Archmage's Charm. That seems to have picked up in popularity. Yep, you got me, opponent. I will not pay. That was probably wrong to play that Plains in case I drew a fetch off the Jace. This should resolve. I can't imagine they have a Spell Pierce, but could be wrong. This is fucking silly. Oh, I've never had such a game where we all just drew bolts. Their hand must be like all cryptics. Right. Anyway, enough of this silliness. I want these, this, probably this, and potentially those. And I don't want most of the spells I just cast. I'm going to leave in like a path. Sideboard, something like that. Got like Crumbles and Path to answer Colonnades. Path is also pretty good if they bring in stuff like Baneslayer or Lyra. Or bloody Dream Trawler, I imagine, is going to be the finisher of choice soon. I probably should be trying it, but I don't own any in paper. And I'm trying to test out a list that I can play in paper. I'm so sorry, I'm very tired at the moment. Tired, but otherwise well. I hope you're all thriving. Do I want Wear Tears in case they're a Stoneforge build? Just seems really like sketchy to go for it in the dark. This hand looks fine. The bolt isn't very good, but everything else is good. Hopefully we'll get to like dispute a small Teferi or something like that, because I would imagine they're probably playing small Teferis. I imagine I also probably should be, but I just have found the card to be quite weak in Modern compared to Legacy, Standard and other formats, because Modern isn't very counter-spelly, so the the you can't cast instants as instants clause isn't that good, and the bounce effect isn't very strong either. It's just a cantrip. Yeah. Wow, I just noticed opponent mulligan to 5. Spell Snare is great. It makes me feel good against like potential Stoneforges, which I have yet to see, but would be bothered by if they came up. Opponents hitting their land drops, which is all you can ask for when you've mulliganed twice. Nothing worse than mulliganing, getting stuck on a land or two, and just feeling helpless. Good to keep hitting art. Yeah, everything's going well. Hopefully, realistically, we just want opponent to make the first move, don't we? Excuse me. Come on, opponent. Blink. Still amused by how game 1 went. That was like something like 8 bolts between us, between actual bolts plus snaps. Super weird game. Sure, let's pretend I've got stuff going on. I think I'll be declining triggers with these Mystic Sanctuaries because I just want to draw win conditions at this point. I've got like a unbelievable suite of answers in my hand. I can answer nearly anything. Let's just dispute that. I suspect they have a dispute for my dispute. Sure, so I will pay. When they've mulliganed, getting like a... This is a beating for the opponent. Yeah, they got a 1 for 0 when they were trying to get their 2 for 1 through. That was nice. Hopefully they go for a Jace or something and I can force it and just win. Alright, whatever. I'll save them for things that matter. I thought about it because it's essentially a 2 for 2 if we trade for their card that's drawing 2 cards, but like I'd rather be insulated against Jace or something. want that? No, I do not. I've heard that this card is just the one from various people, but I can't say I'm as sold on it. I suppose a 3-mana draw 2, because it's very easy to get triple blue most of the time. A 3-mana draw 2 is nice. Sure, I guess I'll put the opt on top. Opt is always going to be better than a random card because it lets you see 2 things. I'm not going to cast my other opt now, I'm going to wait. I know that the top card on my deck is something I'm happy to draw, so I would basically not be making use of the scry. And additionally, something like Cryptic plus Spell Snare might come up. You really don't know. Just looking for a Planeswalker or something at this point, or a Snappy. That's actually fine. That lets me cantrip whilst very gently chipping away at them. I assume they're supposed to just let this go. Seems like a weird thing to fight over, but if they fight, I don't think I'll object. Rev is nice. Land. Okay. Rev is super nice. I can go for it on their turn with Force Protection. If anything, Force is good because it might prevent me having to discard cards. It's another Archmage's Charm. Yep, go for it. My draw spell is better than yours. There's every chance that it doesn't resolve, but that doesn't even matter really because I've got 7 cards in hand. I assume they're not playing any black spells. I'm guessing that's just because they wanted a 9th blue fetch. More than they wanted like an Arid Mesa or something. Yep. Might have to wait on the original plan. Well, my next fight will be to cast a Force, if I have to fight. Bit of funny stuff going on. I'm just going to cast an opt. Oops. That's a good one. Just want more lands, please. Perfect. It's a land that deals damage. How good is that? I might just snap electrolyse end of turn if they don't put me under any pressure. They've got an Archmage's Charm that we know about. I'm doing this in such a way that I'll not be able to electrolyse, but I'll be able to opt or something instead. See how much removal they've left in. I hope they go for something like a Helix and we get to... I think that's fine. And we get to use this spell snare that's doing nothing at the moment. It's kind of stinking up the joint. Yep. Top, okay. They like what they see. It's their own cryptic. Be a Thassa's intervention based on how long it's taking to cast. This is getting good. We're getting our way a lot. Bolt you just to empty my hand so that if I rev I don't like have to discard too much. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got to decide how much to rev for. I think I'm going to rev for 3, holding up 3. Because then if I hit a land I can cryptic. Nice. Toit. That was good. We've got literally everything. I think they have to like resolve a planeswalker this turn for anything to matter. We can even, yeah, we've got enough removal to kill the mentor if we let it slide through. Okay, you got it. Don't know if they'll have, they probably have a way to make a monk. assume this is a helix. So yeah, we get to do some nice things here. Prowess resolves. Monk resolves. Spell snare here. Should not have let Prowess resolve. That was a mistake. Okay, I'll fuck that up. My intention was to snap Electrolyze with Prowess on the stack, but I was not thinking straight when I was letting the stack resolve. I am a stupid. Oh dear, have they got a thing? They have got a thing. Alright, you get your mentor. I feel like literally nothing matters at this point, so I'm just going to keep Jace alive and then win the game on my turn. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have enough. I just need to see if I've got enough colours. Animate. Don't think I have enough red, which is ridiculous. I wonder if I've misfetched at some point. Does that mean I have to be cautious, or I guess I can dig for red here? Sure, I'll just kill this. Tap wrong then as well. I'm making all kinds of mistakes. But it's fine. We'll win anyway. I just need to stop playing so loose. Yeah, alright, you can have that one. This is tremendous. Sure. If they minus, I'll snap and opt. Opponent's not being very fun as well. Anyway, that was an odd objection. Sorry about that period towards the end there where I got super yawny. I was just tired. So we got a 3 and 2. The deck is clearly brilliant in the Jeskai mirror versus the stupid modern one with new cards. I'm trying to think what looked really good and really bad. Spell Snare basically did nothing all league, but I still think it's a good card. Rev didn't do a ton, but we did only draw it once, so we did cast it. So the sideboard plan for the Titan deck felt really good. We've got enough powerful haymakers for the matchup, which is, I think, how you beat them. You can't beat them with like small effects like paths and stuff, because they're just so good at overpowering bog standard interaction. You have to do something over the top, like a crumble to dust or something. So yeah, that sideboard plan felt really good. What did we lose to? We lost to Dredge because we always lose to Dredge. And we lost to... was it the Death Shadow deck? So we beat Jeskai, we beat Black-White, and we beat Titan. Yeah, so we lost to the Death Shadow deck, and they kind of had it all game one, didn't they? I can't remember if I made any mistakes. Probably did. But yeah, other than that, it was a solid league. I just love playing Jeskai, if I'm 100% honest. I don't really need a second invitation. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.